Good morning. Time for breakfast. We're on Luke chapter 8. And it came to be afterward that he went through every city and village, proclaiming and bringing the good news of the reign of Elohim, and the 12 were with him. And certain women who were healed of wicked spirits and sicknesses, Miriam called Magdala, out of whom had come 7 demons, and Johanan, the wife of Chuza, manager of Herodes, and Shoshana, and many others who provided for him from their resources. And when a large crowd had gathered, and those who were coming to him from every city, he spoke by a parable. A sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some indeed fell by the wayside, and it was trodden down, and the birds of the heaven devoured it. And other fell on rock, and when it grew up, it withered, because it had no moisture. And other fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up with it and choked it. And other fell on the good soil, and grew up, and yielded a crop of 100-fold. Having said this, he cried, "He who has ears, let him hear." And his taught ones were asking him, saying, "What does this parable mean?" And he said, "To you it has been given to know the secrets of the reign of Elohim, but to the rest in parables, that seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not understand. And this is the parable. The seed is the word of Elohim, and those by the wayside are the ones who hear. Then the devil comes and takes away the word from their heart, lest having believed they should be saved. And those on the rock are those who, when they hear, receive the word with joy. And these have no root, who believe for a while, and in time of trial fall away. And that which fell among thorns are those who, when they have heard, go out and are choked with worries and riches and pleasures of life, and bring no fruit to perfection. And that on the good soil are those who, having heard the word with a noble and good heart, retain it and bear fruit with endurance. And no one having lit a lamp covers it with a vessel or puts it under a bed, but he puts it on a lampstand, so that those coming in see the light. For whatever is hidden shall be revealed, and whatever is secret shall be known and come to light. Therefore take heed how you hear. For whoever possesses, to him more shall be given, and whoever does not possess, even what he thinks he possesses, shall be taken from him. And his mother and brothers came to him, and were unable to get to him because of the crowd. And it was reported to him, saying, "Your mother and your brothers are standing outside, wishing to see you." And he answering said to them, "My mother and my brother are those who are hearing the word of Elohim and doing it." And on a certain day it came to be that he entered into a boat with his taught ones, and he said to them, "Let us go over to the other side of the lake." And they set out. And as they were sailing, he fell asleep. And a windstorm came down on the lake, and they were filling up, and were in danger. And they came to him and woke him up, saying, "Master, Master, we are perishing." And he awoke and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water. And they ceased, and there came a calm. And he said to them, "Where is your belief?" And they were afraid and marveled, saying to one another, "Who then is this, that he even commands the winds and the water, and they obey him?" And they sailed to the country of the Gadarenes, which is opposite Galilee. And as he went out onto the land, he was met by a certain man from the city who had demons for a long time. And he wore no garments, and he was not living in a house, but in the tombs. And when he saw Yeshua, he cried out, fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, "What have I to do with you, Yeshua, Son of the Most High Elohim? I beg you, do not torture me." For he had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man, for it had seized him many times, and he was bound with chains and shackles. Being guarded and breaking the bonds, he was driven by the demon into the lonely places. And Yeshua asked him, saying, "What is your name?" And he said, "Legion," because many demons had entered into him. And they were begging him that he would not command them to go out into the bottomless pit. And a herd of many pigs was feeding there on the mountain, and they begged him to allow them to go into them, and he allowed them. And the demons, having gone out of the man, entered into the pigs, and the herd rushed down the steep place into the lake and drowned. And when those feeding them saw what had taken place, they fled and reported it in the city and in the country. So they came out to see what had taken place, and came to Yeshua, and found the man from whom the demons had gone out, sitting at the feet of Yeshua, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And those who had seen it reported to them how he who had been possessed by demons was healed. And all the crowd of the neighborhood of the Gadarenes asked him to leave them, for they were seized with great fear. And he entered into the boat and returned. And the man from whom the demons had gone out was begging him to be with him. But Yeshua sent him away, saying, "Go back to your house and relate what Elohim has done for you." And he went away proclaiming through all the city what Yeshua did for him. And it came to be, when Yeshua returned, that the crowd gladly received him, for they were all looking for him. And see, there came a man whose name was Yair, and he was a ruler of the congregation. And falling down at the feet of Yeshua, he was calling upon him to come to his house, because he had an only daughter, about 12 years of age, and she was dying. And as he went, the crowds thronged upon him. And a woman having a flow of blood for 12 years, who having spent all her livelihood on physicians, was unable to be healed by any, came from behind and touched the zitzit of his garment, and immediately her flow of blood stopped. And Yeshua said, "Who touched me?" And when all denied it, Kepha and those with him said, "Master, the crowds throng you and press upon you, and you say, 'Who touched me?'" But Yeshua said, "Somebody did touch me, for I knew power went out from me." And the woman, seeing that she was not hidden, came trembling, and falling down before him, she declared to him in the presence of all the people why she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately. And he said to her, "Take courage, daughter. Your belief has healed you. Go in peace." While he was still speaking, someone came from the ruler of the congregation's house, saying to him, "Your daughter is dead. Do not trouble the teacher any further." And Yeshua, having heard, answered him, saying, "Do not be afraid, only believe, and she shall be healed." And coming into the house, he allowed no one to go in except Kepha and Yaakov and Yohanan and the girl's father and mother. And they were all weeping and mourning for her. And he said, "Do not weep. She is not dead, but sleeps." And they were laughing at him, knowing that she was dead. But taking her by the hand, he called, saying, "Child, arise." And her spirit returned, and she rose up immediately. And he directed that she be given food to eat. And her parents were astonished, but he ordered them to say to no one what had taken place.